Hello, everybody, and welcome to Leeds Digital Festival 2021, and welcome to this webinar, Boosting Women in Tech in an Ever-Changing Market. Now, while we're just waiting for a few more people to log on, if everyone could just pop into the chat and let me know that you can hear and see everything okay. Just say hi or give a little wave. Just so I know that you can, or pop it in the question box. Brilliant. Okay. So we're just waiting for a few more people to log on. Amazing. So if my lovely speakers and panelists would like to turn on their video and audio, that would be great, and then we can get started. Just give them a few moments to do that. Brilliant, everyone's on. So yes, again, a very warm welcome to everyone. This webinar is Boosting Women in Tech in an Ever-Changing Market, and we do hope that you enjoy it. So just a little bit of housekeeping first. So this webinar is scheduled to last roughly 45 minutes, but give or take a few minutes, depending how deep into discussion we get with the Q&As at the end. And speaking of Q&As, you can pop the question to us in the question box and we'll get to that at the end. And all of this will be recorded, and the resources and the recording will be sent out to you after the webinar. So if you have to pop away and then come back, whatever, not to worry, there will be an opportunity to re-watch it, and it will go up, sent out by email, and I think it will go up on the Leeds Digital website too. So here are our wonderful speakers for today. We've got myself, Rose, and Emma, and I'd like to let Rose introduce herself first.
Hi there, thanks Laura. Well, I'm Rose McCarter-Field. I'm the founder and managing director at Project Recruit. I set Project Recruit up 14 years ago, and I work with an incredible team of recruiters and operational staff. And at Project Recruit, we're passionate about getting more women into technology. We work closely with our clients, working on projects to recruit diverse talent. I'm really pleased to be speaking today as part of the Leeds Digital Festival with Laura and Emma. Now, I must say, I'm not new to public speaking. In fact, I rather enjoy it. However, I am very new to webinars. I'm taking it as an exciting challenge. I'm embracing it with open arms, but there is a tiny bit of apprehension too.
Thank you so much, Rose. And this is Rose's second webinar speaking, so I think she's done incredibly well. Emma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, thanks ever so much for having me today. So I'm Emma Broadway. I'm the founder and CEO of Talent Partnership Consulting. So I've been working in the executive talent acquisition space and RPO space, so recruitment process outsourcing space for many years now. And then more recently as a diversity and inclusion program manager for a very large IT services company. And I have a huge passion for empowering others, coupled with that kind of excitement and pace of change within equality and sustainability and digitalisation, particularly. And I love working with visionary talent to make this happen. So I decided to devote the next part of my career to driving change in organisations, really by fulfilling that golden ambition to build, gosh, you know, the dream of fair and equitable world. So my business is now focused on bringing more diversity to the C-suite and creating an agile environment where individuals can really be the best they can be and love the role that they play in this ever-changing world. So looking forward to sharing some best practice here about how we can get some quick wins and long-term wins. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you so much, Emma, and to both of you. So that just leaves me. My name is Laura, and I work with the Scholar to promote tech skills for all and increase diversity and increase the number of women in tech, and we do that through apprenticeships. We've got a great team there, and they're really passionate about bringing more people into the tech industry with completely different backgrounds, and I'm incredibly happy to be here with these wonderful women to be able to talk to you about that. So to get started, let's just take a look at the situation in the tech industry and for women in tech today. Looking at these stats, we know that the tech industry has had a huge amount of growth. It's continued to grow throughout the pandemic with, companies, software companies booming. But at the same time, we're getting a tech talent shortage. And on the one hand, the tech industry booming, on the other, a shortage. We're kind of heading towards a bit of a tech talent shortage disaster. And when you look at the stats, you can kind of figure out why. So only 17% of tech roles are filled by women. That is a shocking percentage. So it basically means that we're not even appealing to about 50% of the population when we're trying to get more talent into tech. And this is a problem. But the solution is getting more women into tech. So how really can we do this? Let's have a look inwardly for a moment. I'd like everyone to have a think about their organization. How many women do you have in leadership positions? What's the gender split in leadership versus admin versus HR versus project management, the shop floor, marketing? Do you have a lot of women who are applying for new roles? Do you have a lot of women who are applying for promotions? What's the gender split there? And then I'm going to launch a poll to see, kind of getting a feel for where we're at. So let me launch this poll and let's have a look. So I'm sending out a poll now that asks, what percentage of women are in leadership roles in your organization? So if you can click on what your answer is, obviously you may not know exactly, but if you give a bit of a guess, that would be great. And I will let you know what the results are as they are coming in. So we'll give people a few minutes to do that and fill that in. We've got some results coming in, which I'm very happy about, because you never know what kind of technical difficulties are going to come up with these things. But okay, we're up to about 50% of people voted. Brilliant. I'm so glad this is working. Okay, excellent. So we'll give people a bit longer to vote. We'll wait until it gets to the majority of people voting. Okay, nearly there. Fantastic. Okay, so we've had about 70% of people vote. So let's have a look at the results. So, okay, very interesting. 35% are less than 15%. 26% are between 15 and 30%, 0% in the 30 to 45% range, or that's just jumped up to 4%, and 38% over 50%. So some organizations are doing incredibly well, and that's brilliant to hear. Very interesting, there's not so much in the 30 to 40%, 45% range, but still there's we've just pushed over to a majority, the largest percentage at 38%, less than 15%. So we're obviously quite split here in the audience, and that's really interesting to see. So we obviously do still have a bit of work to go, and it would be really interesting if we get to a discussion at the end, if everyone's sending questions and chatting, to see what those companies who are over 50% are doing, which the ones which are in the less than 15% aren't. So that would be really interesting. So we've had a look at that poll, we've had a look at what everyone in the audience's organizations are doing, but now let's move on to what can we do about it. So here is an overview of how we're going to tackle this issue and what we're going to bring to you in this webinar. So here are the steps to boost women in tech. So firstly, we're going to be looking at making impactful change through recruitment. So Rose will take on this segment and she'll be talking about the quick wins that you can do and all the things that you can do to make sure you're attracting female talent. Step 2, I'll be talking about how we can use apprenticeships to boost that talent diversity and create new pools of talent. And finally, step 3, laying the foundations for long-term change. Emma will be looking at this and she'll show you all the strategies that you can input into your organisation to be able to build on all the things we've talked about in the beginning. So with that, it's my pleasure to hand over to Rose to talk about making impactful change through recruitment. Take it away, Rose.
Thank you, Laura. So as you've heard from Laura, getting more women into technology is a huge topic and feel overwhelming. And it's hard to know where to start. So today I'm talking about some quick wins and some quick solutions to help you to roll out immediately to help you recruit diverse talent. It's about making impactful change to change the gender equality balance in your organisation. And today I want to talk about looking at recruitment processes, communications and culture. How do we get to the female talent that's out there? Recruiting women in tech takes a conscious and sustained effort from the top. It's about creating a culture of inclusivity. That's how you're going to attract female hires. And you have the power and the influence to make impactful changes to gender equality in your organisation. And it starts in the hiring pipeline. Now, really interestingly, Nokia, Microsoft and Airbnb, they've taken these steps and they've seen their talent pool open up across all genders. I wanted to start with an example of a company that is getting things right. Nokia, they're a great example. They're a company who have thought through the issue. They've made some major and some very subtle changes to improve their gender equality. They realised that to be competitive and to survive, you need the best talent, irrespective of gender. So in 2019, Nokia joined the Bloomberg Gender Equality Index. They are committed to improving gender equality, and they looked very specifically, with the guidance of the Bloomberg Gender Equality Index, at their internal company statistics and their employee policies. They looked at 4 key areas. The first was addressing the gender pay gap. Now, Nokia looked at the pay scheme across the business, and they noticed in some instances the pay gap was as much as 19%. This was addressed and equalised. They took steps to ensure that inequalities did not start to reappear because of unintentional bias. So now they don't collect salary history from candidates for new roles. They want to avoid inheriting pay inequalities, and they now base pay offer on the value of the role. They then looked at female-focused recruitment. It's really key. They had women and men involved in the running of recruitment drives. They used visual imagery in their advertising and on their website, helping women visualise what it would be like to work for the business. They developed specific women's forums and networking groups, and they highlighted gender inclusivity in their company, throughout the company, in their recruitment process. They then looked at mandatory gender equality leadership training. They wanted to identify and remove bias within the communications and operations and throughout the recruitment process, as well as in the day-to-day culture. They then looked at gender inclusive work-life balance. So measures that don't penalise women over men. They looked at working from home, flexible working hours, which allowed staff to meet both family and work commitments. They also looked at return to work schemes, so returning from a career break, ensuring that the returner hadn't missed any training or any missed promotions. So as you can see, Nokia are an interesting case study. Their changes have shown really positive results. So on to quick wins. Small changes can help start on the route to making a more gender inclusive business. The first thing we looked at was role profiling. So this covers a number of areas, so I'll work through them individually. The first one's writing the job specification. Women have been found to approach job specs differently. If they're not 100% qualified, they may not apply. Be sure to be honest about what skills and experience is essential and what is nice to have. Rather than saying everything is essential, think, Drill down what is absolutely essential. It's also key to look at work-life balance. What does the work-life balance look like in your company? Is there flexible working? Can the role be work from home, or the 2-3, 3-2 home office split? It's worth considering part-time, job share. Really interesting, something that we try is condensed hours. Other things to consider: will parents be supported in their career with you? Interestingly, Netflix offers parents up to a year off with full pay after the birth or adoption of a child, and Microsoft and Airbnb offer 22 weeks to new mums with full pay. So it's also key to think about training. What training will be given, and consider where training could be used rather than just buying in skills. This helps widen the applicant pool, and the use of training increases staff retention and grows a really strong culture within the business. So in the profiling, it's also key to think about the wording. The words used in the job descriptions, especially in tech, have been proven to put women off. So avoid words such as "we need a tech superhero" or overuse of technical terms. Plain English is more accessible, and it makes the role more inclusive. So visualization. Make sure the role description enables applicants to visualize how it feels to work in the company. What's the culture like? What's the team like? And what will their life be like in that role? And it's key to remember this is a team effort. Both women and men need to be involved in writing the role profile and the shortlisting of the candidates. This helps reduce the potential of gender bias. Now on to advertising. Imagery is key. Use images with women in it. Avoid using images that show overt seniority of men over women. Women need to see women in leadership to know that they've got a future in your business. Make sure the women in your leadership team are visible in your adverts, on your website, and in your social media, on your social media platforms too. So on the topic of social media, consider where candidates are looking for information about your business when they're doing the prep after reading an advert before applying. Google, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, and all social media. What does your internet trail say about you as a business and as a balanced working environment? And then on to shortlisting and interviewing. We're all programmed to be drawn to people like us. Train your interviewers to recognise this. Use men and women to shortlist and interview. Men and women pick up different cues and they chime with candidates in different ways. And this helps create a clearer picture of an individual. Questioning. Consistent set of questions and key requirements for interviews helps you focus on what's important, and it makes the process fairer. Open questioning. Women are more likely to be modest at interview. Be inquisitive, ask about their experiences, use open questions. It will help you get a fuller picture. Now give a balanced picture back to the candidate at interview. Help them make an informed choice. Set expectations of how the organisation is and where you're going. And if your organisation isn't yet the balanced model, say so, but state your intention. And this honesty will attract candidates and offer acceptances. So these are our quick wins for gender inclusive recruitment. They are changes you can make today, and they'll help make a real difference in gender inclusive recruitment. Back to you, Laura.
Thank you so much, Rose. That was brilliant and some really good quick wins there. Rose has also put together some quotes from that Bloomberg Gender Equality Index, which she was talking about in relation to the Nokia case study. And these are some really good quotes from really key people, you know, people from General Motors and that. So if you'd like to dive into them a bit more, feel free to take a screenshot or obviously have a look at it when we look at the recording later. So this brings us on to another poll to kind of jump off what Rose was talking about, visualizing women in tech role models and women being able to visualize other women in key roles. I'd just like to do another poll just to see where we're at for that. So I'm going to launch this and let's see. So here we have a poll about how many of these women in tech role models do you know? So it would be really interesting. There's no right or wrong answers. If you don't know any, it really, it doesn't matter. That's where we're going from here. So if you don't know any of them, that's fine. If you just know a couple, or if you know all of them, brilliant. So it would just be nice to see where we're at and what kind of female role models. Is there a particular female role model that other people know before others? For example, Susan Wojcicki, who's the CEO of YouTube, maybe she's more well known than, for example, Jeannie Rometty. That would be really interesting and to see where we're at. So I'll just let the votes come in. And I forgot last time to share the results of the last poll. So I will do that this time so we can all see. So at about 73% in, so just let the last couple of people do that. And then I'll close the poll and let's share the results. So I think I'm sharing the results, but if you can't see, I will read them out anyway. So 16% for the CEO of YouTube, Sina Wojcicki, 4% for Gina Rometty, 12% for Reshma Saujani, 40% for Sheryl Sandberg, and 52% none of the above. So that's really interesting to me. So obviously those that are well known amongst people in general life, Sheryl Sandberg with Facebook and Susan Wojcicki with YouTube. So, but then we've got some also really big role models who aren't so well known, which maybe because they're not associated with such, well-known social media companies. And then 52% none of the above. So I think that's really telling. And I think it just shows that we need to do more to be able to champion these role models in women in tech and highlight them, because once women